All right, we're up. Wednesday? Yeah, Wednesday. Wednesday. We're not effing around here. Podcast. Lots to get to. Changing landscape around the NFL. Lots to talk about with the 5 rookie quarterbacks. My Lord, we've been mocking on that the last couple of days on Cofield and Petro. Freaking joke. So what's going on, Petro?
Not much, buddy. What's going on with you?
Getting busy, right? Football season, it's back. So it all comes crashing at you, which is good. Fans are happy. Hopefully we can hold it together and fans can go to the games and at full capacity. We get college football week 0s next week, so that's kind of cool. So I'm fired up. Are you doing another podcast soon? Or you going to announce this, or what's the deal?
I don't know. Maybe some point.
All right.
Can I get everything lined up before, what do you got to be? What do you, jackass that's got to break the story?
Just want to get people excited, man. There's more Petro podcasts potentially on the way. Let's do it. Let's
we'll see what happens.
Let's toast it. Look at that. You can't even tell I'm on a green screen by this glass. Yeah, that's not screwed up.
It's day to drink. Is that what it's a good day to drink? What's that say?
It's let's day drink.
Oh, let's day drink. Okay.
Kind of a chicky type of thing, but it's like this. It's like these super cooler koozies.
Right. I mean, what's amazing is your beautiful Yankee man cave shining through the can.
Yeah.
So spectacular. When you hold it up close. Yeah, right up there.
Give away the secrets, man. Give away the secrets.
Why? You're giving away my secrets?
No, I just said you might be doing some of our podcasts. That's all.
Right.
Yeah.
What about you?
I'm probably doing less podcasts, to be honest with you. I keep getting approached with on our local station. They're like, we don't have anyone to do stuff. So can you do some more stuff? I'm like, yeah, it's football season. Let's do it.
Is that really your response?
Yeah. I mean, for now, yeah. I mean, here's the thing. A lot of stuff's being sold, so that's good, right? These are all sold things on the weekends. People want us to do more shows, so they're like, hey, we don't have someone to do this show or that show. So we one of our best shows that we do, I think it's short and sweet, but it's, we were doing it before everyone else. Sons of bitches who are all in the gambling space now. But we've been doing, we do Westgate Sunday mornings, 8 to 9 in the morning. Last review of the lines, or kind of last review of the lines. So we're going to be back doing that every week. So that's a cool deal. And so there's a lot of good stuff going on. And obviously in Vegas, like you guys are accustomed to having your great stadium, your super loud stadium. Well, no one got to go to our stadium last year. So, we've got some concerts. We just had a Raiders preseason game, and now we'll see how UNLV goes. But
we had a concert. Did you hear about it?
What was it?
Garth Brooks.
Oh, you had Garth. Okay.
Now there's no Garth. Did you hear about that?
No, what happened?
Canceled the tour.
Get out of here. Why?
COVID problems.
Oh, no. Where was the wasn't there an outdoor stop in Colorado that I had heard from Jacobs that might have been a little bit dicey?
Listen, are we going to see this in the NFL? The plan, I know, because like we very much put out there the story about Vegas saying you have to, everyone has to be vaccinated if they're going to come to the game. The way they went about it to be responsible, or at least to maybe not draw the ire of people that said, are we really ready with the variant going, with the numbers going up to be packing, 70,000+ into a stadium? But they had vaccination stations. You could get vaccinated because, the moment the needle touches your skin, you're 100% vaccinated. Or at least, I guess that was the theory behind it. And they did vaccinate 35 people.
Oh, my God.
That was the number I was told. 30.
Get out of here.
5.
So, wait, Joe Jayhawk is saying Lincoln, Nebraska, which, by the way, we'll have to do a little Nebraska talk tonight now that Scott Frost may have been bending the rules a little bit. So I was busting the chops of some Nebraska fans in my typical fashion as a Big Ten guy shitting on Nebraska. They got all mad about that. But was his last stop really in Lincoln, Nebraska with 90,000 people? Holy Christmas. Seriously? So did the COVID difficulties happen there? Is that what they're stemming, or
I don't know. I don't know where they happened.
When was the show? When was the show at Arrowhead?
Was it last weekend? I'm sure it was KC and then Lincoln. I'm guessing.
Okay.
So I don't think you went like KC to Jacksonville to Lincoln.
Let's do it.
By the way, no, 2 pitches are not enough. I saw that one up there. I can't figure out how come I can't make comments.
What that?
Yeah, no. I mean, congratulations. Both pitches were working, but they don't always work. Yes, if he's going to be a competent starter, he needs more than 2 pitches.
Oh, that's a shot at you by Ben.
Well, it's not a shot at me. I don't think it's at me.
Okay.
It might be at me because I think it's preposterous. I think he's been coddled as a pitcher. He won tonight. He pitched very well through 6 innings, and then 6 shutout innings, and then could only get 2 outs in the 7th. They left him out there to try to finish it. He had plenty of pitches left to do it, and he couldn't do it the 3rd time through the order. You want to know why? Because he throws 2 pitches.
Fuck.
That's why you need a 3rd pitch. That's because, did you see the 7th? Because that inning counts too. He lost the lead 2-1.
For those who don't know who is he?
Brady Singer.
Yeah, what's
was
his
the first round pick 2018 out of Florida. He was in the discussion to start that year for the number 1 overall pick. He only has 2 pitches with no real great weapon for left-handers, and so that's why he slid to number 18. Keith Law's assessment of him, who I think is the best when it comes to assessing prospects, was that he's a reliever because he doesn't have a weapon against left-handers. They allegedly have been trying to teach him a changeup since they got him, but they clearly promoted him without the changeup, and I think now he doesn't really feel he needs the changeup. And he's been quoted a number of different times like, listen, if your best stuff isn't working, a 3rd pitch isn't going to save you. Actually, if you perfect the 3rd pitch, it will. See Zach Greinke, the guy who threw 6 innings of 1-run ball tonight without a strikeout and has 219 career wins and 2,700 strikeouts while throwing multiple pitches because there's something else to go to.
All right. Well, good story. At least he got his money. That's good.
Yeah. I mean, listen, I root for the kid. I think he's a hard worker, but I think he's stubborn, and the Royals have coddled him and have not forced him to learn a changeup before they advanced him. And that's a problem.
Wow.
And like, this is the first good outing he's had. Like, he's really he had one outing, I think 6 innings, 1 run. But his 2 best games that he had thrown before tonight, according to game scores, were the first 2 outings he had this year. He had another decent one. I think it was in late June or early July or mid-July. So he's had 4 good starts. But because one was tonight, we're going to say that, no, he doesn't need the 3rd pitch. Mondesi will get a couple of hits in a game, and so people say his on-base percentage at 284. What are you talking about? Are you okay with that 400 on-base percentage he had tonight? He went 2 for 5.
It's all good. It's all fixed. Mm-hmm. Small sample, is that what you're saying?
Yes. And the 7th inning is reality. Like, if what you want is a 5-inning guy that has an opener start in front of him, if that's what you think he tops out at, then no, I guess he can probably do that. If you want to diet, what is it? Not Cale Yarborough, what, Ryan Yarborough? If you want to diet Ryan Yarborough out of the number 18 overall pick that you said should have gone way higher, then you're fine.
I prefer a diet Cale Yarborough in my pitcher. That was good. Dude, the name slips are so amazing. They really are.
It's brutal. I've had some bad. It's not getting better either. I've had some bad.
No, it's getting where I did it in front of the UNLV coach the other day, the football coach, because I was reading up on some of the offensive linemen, and I was going to ask him about some guys I could see were playing with the 1s and 2s, and there was a guy named I'm going to get his fucking name wrong again. Oh, it's Davion McDaniel, right? And so he starts talking, and I'm like, well, what about Mitchell? And he's like,
Davion Mitchell, yeah, okay.
Fucking basketball player. I'm like, God damn it. And he's like,
no, I'm sorry. I meant Xavier McDaniel.
Well, I could have done Xavier McDaniel, no, but I did I did Mitchell, the basketball player, instead of this, this new offensive lineman they've got. I'm like, come on. I can't. I mean, I literally can't. I can't have a freaking cogent conversation with someone because I'm just a feeble old jackass. I'm telling you, there are times on the air I will book the person, right? We start talking to them, and I'm like, what's their first name again? I'm like, I got to look up their Twitter handle because I'm like, I'm going to F up their first name. Idiot. Is that a good ceiling for Brady Singer? Edinson Volquez?
That's properly spelled.
I know. I just like saying it that way.
Oh, okay.
Like really pronouncing it.
Yeah, I mean, he's a little more projectable. He's taller. But, you know, I think it's fair. There's lots of guys. I mean, Luke Hochaver was the number 1 overall pick. I mean, Luke Hochaver is what he could end up being. You know? So, we'll see. They've got other guys. That's the thing. You got to have lots of guys, and they do have lots of guys. So, hopefully they get 3 of them, buy a 4th one, get by with the 5th one. That's the key.
I know it's Hound Dog. It's rubbing off. Believe me, you get that from Soren. He says, "You know what's great? The Raiders game first quarter. They've got Rich Gannon, Matt Millen, and Beth Mowens doing the local call. And I mean, the game's probably 20 plays in, and Matt Millen's like, "Yeah, over there. What's his name? 94." They're like, "Carl Nassib."
Somewhat of note this offseason, a name that may have stuck with you.
I don't like to bang on Millen because he's had a lot of health issues. Like,
oh
really,
yes, I think he's a good guy. I appreciate that he's been one of the few general managers that had mistakes, that's come forward and talked about it and been open about what the thought process was and everything. I'm a big Matt Millen fan, and I think, you know, at the top of his game, he's a tremendous analyst, and maybe he'll get back to that. We all, you know, I mean, listen, you can be a character too.
Yeah.
I don't, you know, things not. Come on.
He's not going to go back to it.
Okay.
I watch him on Big Ten games. I think he's got a limit to how much he can prep, and what they ask him to prep, and that's about what you're going to get from him. So he's more of a bang zoom guy.
That's fine.
Yeah.
But I mean, listen, a Hall of Fame broadcaster once called a game with, you know, an NBA game, granted an exhibition game over in Europe against a Yugoslavian team that would go on to have great players. Have you ever heard the Johnny Most call of when the Celtics did the McDonald's tour back in the day? And the players are like Dino Raja and Vlade Divac and Drazen Petrovic and Raja Bell, guys that – not Raja Bell. Who's the other guy? Anyway, guys that would end up in the league, but his call was, you know, Bird over to DJ, out the Ainge, 3-pointer, good. And then here come Yugoslavia. All right, the little guy over to the big lefty, inside of the heavyset guy, back out to the little guy, really struggling with the Divic. And then the ball's 3 players over. You know, the Celtics have the ball. Hey, here come the Celtics. And at one point he finally goes, really struggling with these names here. Well, maybe you should have looked at him once before you started calling the game.
He's a legend. Give him a break.
He is a legend. He set himself on fire while calling a Celtics game. Dropped his cigarette into his lap. He's like, I'm on fire.
I told a setting, I dropped the setting himself on fire line last week, but I fucked up the story. So I felt bad.
You were trying to talk about him?
We were talking about, we played a clip from a Russell Wilson Ciara conversation leading into KJR star Chuck Powell. And it was like, what was your favorite TV show? And I guess Ciara's favorite TV show was Martin. So we played some Martin theme music back. It just gets too complicated. I don't know what I'm doing. It's all convoluted. And then I tried to make like a Martin joke about him catching himself on fire. But all it was he went out in a jogging suit, one of those the plastic jogging suits. And he just overheated. And then he was in a coma for like 10 days. And I'm like, that wasn't funny.
Who is this?
Martin Lawrence.
When did that happen?
And I don't know. I looked it up. I don't know, early 2000s.
If you have to look up to find a thing to go too far with, I think you went too far.
I didn't look it up for the purpose of the joke. My girlfriend will often joke if I'm sweating too much, or in the past, when I was on a real weight loss.
We don't want to know about your personal life or what goes on in your bedroom.
I know, right? She's like, you're overheating. You're going to set yourself on fire like Martin Lawrence. But really what it was, you're going to get yourself in a coma like Martin Lawrence. So that was the story. So wait. So to go back to the beginning of this conversation, way back before Brady Singer.
A lot of heavy breathing in Steve's bedroom. That's just him getting his pants off.
I had no idea that Garth Brooks canceled. This was like 9 hours ago. And
yeah.
So it says he canceled tour dates due to Delta variant. Quote, I must do my part. Is he now a hated figure amongst the unvaxxed?
Well, I mean,
are they like, you pussy?
I don't know. because I give up on trying to, counsel anyone. I just try to do my own thing the right way. But I know some people that are like, really? Like, are we really ready for? But obviously, I know 70. I don't know them personally. I'm sure I know some of them, but 70+ thousand and 90+ thousand in Nebraska thought, yeah, we are ready for it.
Well, is this a really bad sign of things to come, or are you now starting to freak out about, a stadium full of people who aren't masked up?
Well, that's where, we're going to talk about that. The Raider, because I support the Raiders and saying, I'm not, and I don't say that everybody has to follow suit, but I support the Raiders for saying, I'm a sipper. What can I tell you?
The little things that catch Adam Hill's attention. He's worried about Soren's huge sips. I guess my story about Martin Lawrence that he had already heard me box wasn't debating him, so he just focused on Soren drinking.
If I so when I go for the water, if I have the quantity of those beverages that I have the quantity of water, that can wrap the podcast up early. So I try to hang in there. Is that okay? Get off my ass, Adam.
This is an FCC violation. You cannot drink while you're doing a podcast.
That's not true.
No, not at all.
No, but seriously, or not seriously, maybe, I don't know. We'll see where it goes. I support someone who says, look, this is what we want. We're going to go to the nth degree. And the Raiders are saying, we're not going to be part of the problem. We want people to be vaccinated when they come in here. And you don't have to go.
Did you take
Am I
wrong? Well, first I want to ask.
I don't have to go. I didn't try to protest and shut down the Garth Brooks concert. I just didn't go.
Right.
Why doesn't it work the same way the other direction?
I think so. I told you, and people heard this on the air the last couple of days in Vegas. I don't like the level to which the Raiders took it. I think they're shutting out a lot of people who've already spent their money. And I understand, it's a virus, so we're making changes like every freaking month. And it would be nice if people cooperated and got vaxxed and wore the mask. They're probably not helping the situation. But I don't like there's no outlet at all for the unvaxxed to go to the games, because the Saints did actually offer.
Sell their tickets. The NFL offers. They have a whole ticket share where you can sell them on their market, so you can get your money back.
Which is a whole nother topic, by the way, because there were, it felt like half of social media is like, fuck the Raiders. I'm never going to a game. I'm getting rid of my tickets.
And the other half went, this is awesome. Great. I know I'll be safe. Just like every other location and every other thing in this country right now.
Did you take any calls from Chiefs fans who were like, I'm traveling there. I'm not getting the vaccine. I got effed. I can't get my money back from the hotel. I can't get the flight money back.
Well, listen, you choose the school, not the coach, Steve. So when the coach leaves, you should still be happy to be at the school, right? This is the same principle. You chose to go to Vegas. The fact that the game's not going to be played, you still should be happy to be in Vegas, right?
Okay. But it's also, think about it. It's also shocking because
listen, I don't mean to belittle. Sorry to always finally have my thought 10 seconds after you start talking, which I know is rude and annoying. But I'm not trying to be flippant about the people. You're right. It sucks. It sucks if you bought the tickets and you're not vaccinated because you have a legitimate reason or you're just choosing not to. It sucks. Like, you had plans. They sold you the tickets. They expected you, everything. You're going to do everything it takes to follow through and take advantage of the money you spent. I get it, right? I absolutely get it, that sucks. But, listen, it sucked when there's a draft and people have to leave a job that they like and family that they care about and go to basic training and go over and defend a nation. There are times, I love when it's all about the guns and the planes and the jets and the bombs. Freedom isn't free. Right. But freedom is free as shit when it's about a vaccine and a virus. That's the part, right? So that just doesn't jive with me. I'm done trying to ask anyone to agree with me. I just would like to, be able to go someplace and do some things, which I can do a lot more now because I'm vaccinated. I'll be the first guy in line as soon as I'm eligible for the booster shot. Can't wait for my 11-year-old to either turn 12 or them to clear the Pfizer vaccine down to her age, and I'll feel a lot better and do things. But I'd like to get back to normal. And the reality is it's just not going to happen until things like this are the deal. And I think that's the reality. Listen, secondhand smoke is a reality. We don't tell people they can't smoke everywhere, but there are certain places you can't smoke. And then they tax the shit out of them. These are the taxes. This is how it works. You don't have to drive your car, but if you're going to put gas in it, whatever it is, 60, 70% of the price of a gallon of gas is taxes. That's the price. You don't have to pay it, but you don't get to drive your car.
Miller J says, I'm done with the unvaxxed or screwing the people that actually care about the rest of society. Adam Hill says they had an outlet, 4 events to try out wearing masks, and they failed miserably. Well, the Chiefs fans weren't here for the 4 events, nor were a lot of American football fans at the Gold Cup, which apparently, soccer match was a disaster. Not every person was represented in those first 4 crowds at the Al at Allegiant Stadium. And I don't understand why can't we do what the Saints are doing, which is, hey, you're fully vaxxed, or you got to bring a freaking test. And guess what? To get those tests and have them ready to go 48 hours, from 48 hours into the event, it's going to cost some extra money. That's kind of the tax. They've taken it completely off the table. I'll give you the other thing. I don't trust most vaccinated people because I think they've let their guard down. I ain't sitting around them without a mask on. So I also don't love the fact that, hey, everybody come in. If you're fully vaccinated, guess what? We're going to have Raiders games with no mask on. Well, I think that's stupid.
I think if you're in close proximity to people for a period of time, you should wear a mask. That's what I do. I had breakfast with someone. We picked a place that had an outdoor patio. I had a remote. I was ready to and was starting to do regular remotes, but now with the numbers going up, I was at Joe's Kansas City Barbecue. Much love for Joe's, their 25th anniversary. And we sat out on their patio. That's where we did the show from. It's like 85. It's a little warmer than I'd normally like to do. 86 or 7, I think, actually. A little warmer than I'd normally like to do a remote outside. But, it's what you got to do to try to make it all work. And, I listen, we're not getting there soon. It's not going to happen. You're not going to convince these people. And I think for most folks, it's like they've given up on trying to use logic and reason, or at least their logic and reason, not to offend anybody. I would agree my logic and reason. I give up on that part of the equation. It comes down to, if you don't want to pay the health costs of everybody having black lungs, you tax the cigarettes and at least make sure that it's difficult to buy as a deterrent and you're at least generating tax revenue. And this is basically just a form of a tax. It is a sin tax. Like, cigarettes and what will eventually be marijuana everywhere. That's how it's going to work. It's no different. And it's again, as long as you're not being jailed or deported, no rights have been violated. Sure, absolutely they can. But 2/3, there's a stat that flashes on my drive up to St. Joe to Chiefs training camp. 66% of all fatalities in car crashes are people not wearing a seatbelt. 99% of all deaths due to COVID are from people that are unvaccinated. So actually, you're making the point because the vaccination is 33% more effective than seatbelts. Yet there's a law for seatbelts. And nobody has a problem with that. You're ticketed if you don't wear a seatbelt. So I don't think that's necessarily, if that was tongue in cheek, okay. If you're serious, seatbelts versus vaccines, you're going the wrong direction if you're trying to say that vaccines are somehow the wrong deal.
Are you surprised of all teams to do this? The first one, like with the hardcore, you got to be vaxxed, are the Raiders in Vegas?
Yes, at first glance, but then I don't really know Mark Davis, and he's kind of his father was known as being a Maverick. I assume he wants to kind of carry that tradition forward. So, F you. I'm putting it out there first. I'm not afraid of you.
That. But I think a lot of that is the Raiders are such a hot commodity. They have so much money on the way that there's little risk. Like we had people yesterday reacting on social media like they're not going to sell out this year. They're going to go bankrupt. Terrible financial move. I mean, he's swimming in it for 5 years. He can do whatever he wants. And I will just tell you, UNLV is not doing it for their football games. you have to wear a mask. Everyone can get in. Vaxxed, unvaxxed, everyone's got to wear a mask.
Well, except for when you're eating or drinking.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So we've seen how that works at Arrowhead Stadium. How many people at a football game don't have a beer in their hands their entire game?
Yeah, that's a way to get around it. My point was UNLV can't afford to do it. The Raiders can afford to do whatever they want.
Yes and no. I mean, to your point, yes, more so for sure. But I wonder if the Raiders haven't, done a survey, done the analytics, and realized, hey, the more premium tickets tend to be vaxxed, and we're going to lose more premium tickets, and the unvaxxed tend to be the lower end tickets. And so if we have some cheapy seats that aren't filled, but all the expensive seats are filled, listen, we can't please them all. We're going to take a hit somewhere. And so let's make sure the expensive seats are filled. I don't know. I don't know how it'll be. I think it'll be interesting to watch and see. But I do think that they have a right to run their business the way they want to run their business.
I do like this. While I don't like the exact details of what's happening, I do like this, that Vegas in some ways gets to reset its reputation. While we are crazy and you can pretty much do whatever you want here, like, people do care about other safety. And when it comes to business, we got destroyed from a business standpoint the last year or so. And football teams, stadium owners, and you're going to see it with the casinos. I'm not sure like all the casinos are going to do it, but they're going to have more stringent requirements. And the MGM just the other day, and they own a lot of casinos here, said, hey, employees, salaried employees and new hires, you got to be fully vaccinated. If not, get out. That's hard. By the way, that's what ultimately, that decision, when people have to face that decision, that's what will move us all forward.
And can they stick to that decision? Because most businesses' biggest struggle is to hire people. Now, I will say that's an easy thing to say. It's not really to hire people. It's to hire people at the rate that they want to hire them. Right? Like, everyone's like, we can't find anyone to work. Well, you're paying $12 an hour. Right? Like, that's, sitting there, like, if you offered $50 an hour, I'll bet you'd find people to work.
Well, something else.
I'm just saying.
Yeah, something else we talked about last week with Justin Watkins, and I repeated it today on the air. People in the service industry, I'm sure, are welcoming the whole fully vax thing, but I'm sure they want it both ways, because the last thing they want to be doing is having to tell someone to put their mask on and get fucking screamed at all the time. Like, this wasn't my job 2 years ago. And frankly, I do believe that is why in the service industries, that's why a lot of people aren't coming back, because they've worked during this time, or they've come back and they're like, this is stupid. I'm getting screamed at and threatened. I don't know if Adam Hill's still on here, but yesterday at they had the press conference for the whole vaccination thing at Allegiant, and there were like 5 or 6 jabronis out front protesting, screaming at security people, calling them Nazis, trying to get up close to them and threaten them. And it's like, this is the job we signed up for, is to deal with a bunch of, crazy unhinged people trying to get you unhinged.
Hey, listen, it's everywhere. Right? There was a place in Tennessee where they were all screaming at the medical professionals that just came to say, hey, here are the medical facts. They said, we'll find you. That's going on. We had there's a school board member who spent the last 18 months protesting everything. By the way, pediatrician, no masks, went and tried to got a waiver, got a different doctor to give her kids a waiver that they didn't have to wear a mask in school, ran for the school board. And suddenly, when she realized, presumably, that she wasn't going to win, said, "Oh no, I've changed. I'm now for masks."
Oh wow!
Yeah. So listen, it's the bottom line is the bottom line, and I think what it is basically you're never going to get everyone to do it, but the more you tax it, whether it's not being able to go to a football game, or whether it's not being able to fly on a plane, or whatever it is, whatever the things are that are taken away from you, the more likely you are, I know there's a lot of people doing research, 15 months of research, still looking into it. But I will say this, I was told, I asked a friend, told me, I said, what's going on at your kids' school? Are they making them be vaccinated? They said no, but they said they're going to. And I said, well, when are they going to? They said as soon as the vaccination comes off the emergency status, right? And that's supposed to happen later this year. And so once it's no longer considered an emergency deal and it's passed all the protocols to be just a regular one, then I think it gets a lot easier for all companies to just say, well, you have to be vaxxed or not. And there's not going to be really any leg to stand on. They'll be like, well, we understand if you want to take your kid out of school. And here's what we do for homeschooling. We provide these materials and we do this and we do that. And we wish you the best. A lot of research.
They need time.
A lot of research.
They need time. Here's my thing, though. I didn't like the other day kind of this whole victory lap and, the more of the division, like us against them. It's disturbing.
Of course it is.
But
we will solve it here.
Well,
right here in this.
I try to listen to people, and I have friends, and I know people who are unvaccinated, and I don't want to call them all morons or useless or disposable.
Do you? Because I actually don't. And I'm not bragging. I'm just saying I don't.
I do. I would say they're not originally my friends. But I like them. And
okay.
I mean, I don't even want to get into the term friends because I felt like my feelings got hurt about a year ago. I brought it up
acquaintances
about friends, and it was like basically everyone on the show was like, yeah, we're not friends with any, like no one here are friends. I'm like, oh, okay. I kind of thought we were, but all right. I guess I got that inner circle of that's it. That 1, 2, maybe.
I think friendship should be defined. Like especially if you live in the same town, to be someone's friend, do you have to have invited them over at least once in the last decade?
Wow. Yeah, that's where I lose out big time.
You don't invite people over?
Well, since this all broke out, I kind of my alone time. I kind of enjoy my alone time. So I'll go out and meet people. I go out obviously I went out a lot during this whole thing. I was very reckless. Just always feels like it's the entertaining thing at home. I just want to chill. That's all. So that circle is shrunk. And actually, I don't really think people want to come over anyway. So I'm not going to invite them. They just get ignored or turned down. So
as long as you put together the food spread the last time I was over, I'm good.
I try to. Yeah, I try to.
I'm strong.
Let's see. Can you call for bail? Is my friend definition. Yeah, I got a few people who show up.
Yeah. Okay. Not Adam.
No, he would because he's got tons of experience bailing people out. I know.
Okay.
I know he's bailed out people that I think were lower on his totem pole than I was. So, or I am.
By the way, if that is supposed to be me and not Pedro, he has been invited to my house. I always ask him why he doesn't come to Kansas City. That's ass right there.
Fuck, I've never been invited to Pedro's house. He said Petro, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, he does live 2,000 miles away, so I mean.
He's been invited. I'm like, why don't you come in for baseball?
Well, you're welcome to go in the baseball league. Petro's looking to basically clear out at least 2 people at the bottom every year. Chuck's on the chopping block every year. Powell.
Well, have you seen his ass trade offers?
He's competing. He's got a good team. He's a good owner.
It's whatever. He's succeeding because there's about 5 of us that have real lives.
Oh, now that's the excuse.
Back when we were single, Chuck didn't rise above 8th.
Oh,
since he's 50 and single, finally he's coming around.
He's not single, but he has been locked down for 15 months, so he was dedicated.
You married?
He pretty much is.
No.
I mean, I'm not, but I pretty much am. I don't have
kids.
Pretty much are. I'm not going to compare myself.
I think you're actually common law married by now.
I hope so. I hope I get half of the value. I need it. I need it big time. New Zealand jokes coming in.
Oh, dude. You remember that? Talk about a guy who decided the world would be better if he went to New Zealand. Somebody, Kurt, said, no, don't go. So he booked himself a 6-month trip to New Zealand.
And then
home in 6 weeks.
Hated it. After he was told, don't do it. Sometimes you got to learn yourself. Yes, Chuck was a legend doing sports radio back in FIFA.
Legend.
He's good.
Legend in the fantasy league too.
He did well.
Well,
is this really your excuse now for doing poorly? That too much is going on?
It's this year's excuse.
I mean, I think your team wasn't good, so you kind of bailed.
It's been the Royals sucking.
Well,
also is part of it. Like I don't have the interest for baseball.
Sir, and I will also say, can we talk honestly here in front of a few dozen people?
Not if it's going to make me look bad. No, why?
I mean, I do think you were so amped up to deal with some issues amongst the owners that I really, now that I look back, I'm like, I kind of think you lost your concentration going.
You think?
Yes.
Well, I had some points I wanted to make.
You did obliterate our commissioner so much to the point that he got himself annihilated on day 2, and he drafted the worst team ever.
Day 1. It was day 1. It was that night.
Well, then, wait. Oh, we do. Oh, that's right. You're right. Day 1 was the night that you crushed him, and his team sucks. Day 2, he recovered, and he's actually got the best team. So it's a matter of focus, my friend. Just stay focused. Going to the. Are you annoyed with anyone a lot going into our football league? I don't think you are. I think you.
No, the football league is a better class of humans. Better class of people. I feel.
All right.
Sure. Adam's in it. It's a good start.
I don't know, man. Justin Watkins is in that one. We like Justin.
Justin's in that. That's a great start.
And he's a pretty good owner too.
Yeah. So
yeah.
I'll be fine. I've won football a lot. I've won baseball a lot. I've got the second or third most wins.
And there is the anomaly that is Renee Brunetti.
Renee, good people.
I can never win, or I barely compete in a fantasy football league that we're in. Renee, in an auction league, gets 5 players and pieces together the rest of the roster, has $1 a holler for 11 guys, and he's always good.
He finds when Adrian Peterson rebounds for a good year, he's got him. Tiki Barber's definitely going to get cut because Tom Coughlin doesn't accept any fumbling.
I know.
He grabs him for nothing, and he goes for 1,850 yards rushing and 14 touchdowns.
I'm not mocking Renee. I'm jealous. I can't make the adjustment to just blow out my entire budget and just piece it together. You're a freaking genius. You figured it out.
He's the master.
Goddamn Jimbo's fantasy football.
Football leaflet
is the Petro joke. All right, let's actually get back to talking to the entire audience. We'll do a listener league this year. We did one last.
Will it be as competently run the draft?
You know what happened? Well, you know what happened last year. Dustin DeHart was in the league. He was on the road, and his thing crapped out.
No, it wasn't. No. We actually CBS got overloaded because everybody was doing online because it was the pandemic.
Is that the only way we can do it? Because I don't like
CBS shut down.
Yeah, I don't. Is there any other auction? Does anyone else in the room? Is there another auction, like fantasy site that does auction?
I'm sure My Fantasy League probably does it.
Yeah. That's a good point. Adam said half the league is here. Why don't we just keep talking? Thanks, guys. You're pushing that audience. It's getting big.
We probably had Tate in. Tate can do it if we need somebody. He's in California now. He just moved to California, so he's not far away.
We had a listener who we needed at the end to fill out the league. He was top 4. And then Dustin, who didn't get to draft his last 6 guys, finished top 4. And everyone mocked the hell out of him for having now I'm going to do Now I'm going to do Matt Millen.
What's his name?
What's his name? Derrick Henry. When everyone's like, PPR, Derrick Henry. Terrible pick. Top 4. I think he drafted or picked up Justin Herbert, so that kind of worked out.
Did we do auction or did we do draft?
I thought we did auction. But
really?
It took a while.
How do we do auction on StreamYard?
We brought in the screen. We had all of us in mini screen. I don't know how we did it. I can't remember.
Wow. Okay.
No, I mean, I like most of the people in the fantasy leagues. It's not me. Yahoo does it? All right.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that should work. What could go wrong there?
Adam said it was an auction, but it broke halfway through. So.
Yeah. I think then we started, like, when we got down to the dollar a holler, we actually ended up just starting doing things like that.
Adam
Good
Adam got
call.
screwed into Zeke, and then didn't he? Who did he explode on? Where I was able to save it, and then I played it a bunch of times on the air. He fucking flipped out about
Me. He always gets pissed at me about something.
We just keep bidding him up on his snitches.
I start saying, somebody bid on this guy.
Look,
Come on. Yeah, it's this guy. He gets all pissed off.
it's the best.
It's the highlight of my drafting.
I'm not going to win. So,
I think the football league is great. I'm sure Adam's like, Petro's such a prick.
Exactly. If you're gonna get a dude angry about Antonio Gibson for 4 months following,
that's what it was. It was Antonio Gibson. He's like, you don't even know who he is. I'm like, I drafted him 2 months ago in my dynasty league, you dumbass. By the way, help lead me to a championship.
The joys of that's what it was, though. I think it was overloaded because of everyone was locked down.
Yeah.
I don't know. I can't remember what month we started to open up again. You people all live different lives. I went into the belly of the beast at all these remotes and stuff. I don't know how I survived. I'm glad I didn't get it.
I didn't leave my house for anything.
Yeah. It happens. Oh, so people keep throwing up congrats to some sort of award winner in your family. So your wife won what? Or was it one of your children?
I didn't. No, actually, my daughter. Yeah.
Okay.
6-time. We could say national, but it's Canada too. So, 6-time national Braille champion.
God damn. Northern Hemisphere Braille champion.
Yes. English speaking North American champion 6 times. Very proud. Try not to be braggadocious, but then they keep doing news stories here in town, so it makes it kind of tough to stay low key.
Your wife is smart.
That she is. Daughter's pretty sharp too.
I mean, that's where she got it from.
I agree.
Yeah.
If you'd like, I can have her come down here and recite all 206 capital cities in the world.
That's embarrassing. I can't do. Don't do that.
She actually can't do it. She can't do it now. She'd probably get like 120 or something like that. But when she was in the state finals of the National Geography B, we decided that learning the state capitals would help her in that, and so or the national capitals. So she memorized 209 capitals. However many countries there are, I think it's 209.
Oh, who gave you? You didn't give the quote. She got to give the quote.
What's
cool? Says,
what do you mean?
Says notice they got your wife's quote, but not you.
No, I was not. I was working, which my wife does too. I'm not saying she doesn't work, but I could not attend the story they did. My wife's more than capable in talking about the importance of Braille for visually impaired people. She's lived it for 14 years now. She is the tip of the spear. She's the better person to talk to. In fact, it just sidebar, my wife spent 3 hours tonight printing books or brailing books on an embosser. So, yeah, she's definitely the person to talk to.
Did you have a high level smart person competition accomplishment as a child?
I don't think so.
I feel like you probably did. I feel like you were one of those.
Not that I know of. No.
I guarantee Adam Hill was, because he was a gigantic nerd. Super smart. And then
we didn't have, I went to public school.
Going into newspapers.
I went to public school. We didn't have spelling bees and geography bees and
really?
No. Did you?
Yeah, we had stuff.
No, we didn't.
Yeah, I always joke about living in Florida for a couple of years as a child. I was freaking super smart when I was in Florida.
Really?
I shit you not. When I was in I don't know.
Was it because you were 16 and in the 3rd grade or something, or?
I was in 3rd grade, but get the joke, because it was real.
I know you're saying.
I was advanced, and then I moved back to New Jersey, and they were like, "Who cares?" They're like, "He attested."
You're calling Florida dumb, is what you're doing.
I mean, I'm not making it up, but at the time, yeah, like I was
You
like a high achiever, and like, yeah, I'm on track to be in all this advanced stuff. I go back to the Garden State, and they're like, yeah, you're slightly above average in a couple of things, but relax. To my mother, like, calm down. He ain't that smart.
you played center.
Well, that too.
With the Oompa Loompas.
Yeah.
Then when you left the Wonka factory,
there you go.
Suddenly they didn't want you in the post anymore. Is what you're saying?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I think that happens though. There's a wake up call when you go from when you're a kid and you move state to state. There's more competition. There's more kids. Frankly, the education system might be just better, and you're not. Those kids in Florida didn't have a fair shake. I had a couple of years in New Jersey to start.
Yeah, I guess in Florida nor New Jersey did they teach you how to frame up a shot.
I like that of it.
You like to lean back behind your name.
I love. Yes, in third grade, in 19, I don't even know how old was like 1979. They were like, there's going to be a day where there's going to be this app, StreamYard. You're going to be doing videos at home.
You're going to be sitting there and
this
is a good way to do it.
Yeah, actually,
sit up.
It's funny. How did we? Oh, you know what? For some reason, the other day, I got a bad haircut. Like it wasn't as short as I wanted because the barberette would not stop talking, the stylist, and somehow she got onto the subject of corporal punishment. Not corporal. Is that what you do to kids who are beating the hell out of them? She's like, did you get hit as a kid? And she went like through all these stories about getting just lit up by her parents, and it got me thinking. In Florida, when I was in grade school, the teachers actually could hit you. Seriously,
really?
1979, 1980. I think they could use a ruler and freaking whack you, and I think they actually had a paddle.
Public school?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. And I was thinking, I'm like, ooh, I'm surprised my mother let that happen because now today, you think most parents would let that happen? Oh shit.
No,
there's no way. The good old days when you could take a ruler across a freaking 8-year-old's hand and potentially break it. You little fucker. What's the problem? The paddle. Yeah. Well, I swear to God.
That and some of the comments.
Oh, I had a shop teacher that made nothing but paddles. Just fresh paddles for the faculty. There's a little edge on this one. I shaved a little close. If you want to nick them a bit. Yeah, Uncle Pecos, we got paddled.
No, I was not paddled.
Yes, that was some of the word. Yes, absolutely. As a true Cofield can throw the ball over some they're mountains. Oh, dude, Brady, the haircut was a goddamn disaster because she wouldn't stop talking. Her first story with me was she was watching a TV show and someone took some drug that had not been approved back like 80 years ago, and the person's jaw fell off. I'm just like, just shave my hair and take off the top, please. Okay. She completely lost focus. And now I have to get another haircut, I think, in the next 5 days.
Okay.
Fuck.
Good story.
It was just, it's to be expected. It was notice a lump. I know. It was the supercuts. I'm a great clips guy. It was the supercuts. The best part is I tip. I gave her a decent tip too. Whatever. Glutton for punishment. By the way, wouldn't that be epic if she wasn't vaxxed and she breathed all over me, telling her fucking stories about a guy's jaw falling off, and about how her mom just used to light her up?
Did you just sit there and go, yeah?
Yep, I know. Trent, I the whole time she talked, I was like, yep. Really? Uh-huh. All right. Yep. She was a machine. She was a chatty machine.
I like that one too. It doesn't stop him.
I don't know what I was saying. I wanted a lot off the top because I've been growing out this Trumpian thing that I've like tried to sculpt. And I was just like, it's an easy haircut. Just chop it all off. Okay. There's gonna be a bald spot.
Can we get a look? I mean, if you're gonna talk haircuts, you're gonna.
No, it's still like floppy in the front and bald. And I'm like, I just wanted it short.
But you're not going to share? Not going to share with the class?
Stupid. Just take it off. I got to take off the top. Is that the way I said it?
I like the Peaky Blinders. It's like a Peaky Blinders cut.
I know it is. Did she smell like licorice?
Could you come up with something else? Because I'm enjoying the comments too
What
much.
else? I'm trying to see what else is in here about the paddling. I think you guys are the first ones I told. I was so annoyed after I got them. Shut up. And reverse mullet. Chia. This is a good one. Like, what do you do when the conversation gets to that point? We're talking about racism. It wasn't that bad. And like, you got the shears.
Yeah. I'm going to have to disagree with you. What? Yeah.
I know. Well, it looked great today. It actually, you know what's funny is it looked great today, and I was feeling good about myself until Justin Watkins was standing across me at the Battleborn Broadcast Center, and the spot gets done, and he's like, "Your shirt's inside out." I'm like, "Yep." Dude, I'm done, man. I'm feeble old jackass. Can't remember names, can't dress, stupid haircut, not speaking clearly. But keep watching the podcast. There's potential here. Did she use? I believe me, if I trusted myself with a Flowbee, I would never get a haircut at a barbershop again.
Are they still out there?
Flowbee?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I get the clippers for $25. I'm incapable of cutting my own hair, especially the top. But I guess I could just go Travis Kelce and just shave it all. And
there you go.
By the way, people love that look, huh?
Yeah, the shaving the mustache and shaving the beard and everything. Yeah.
Wow.
I'm not quite so concerned with appearance. So.
This is a good memory from Razorback Scoop. I went down to a remote downtown, and I walked around like from the D over to a broadcast location, and I did have a white sock stuck to the Velcro on one of my pockets on the cargo shorts, and I'm walking around. I'm like, it's not good, man. It ain't good.
How far have you fallen, Steve?
Pretty far. That's why I'm pushing to get back in that strip club we were in. It's all dark. No one can see me. I walk in. I can just, if I look like a mess, no effect.
All right. Enough about your hair.
So are Royals fans all about this potential plan of welfare?
Are you into that or not?
Explain the plan to me, because no, I mean, what I saw initially, I was like, first of all, the top end is way too low, and the bottom is low. But explain it.
It's funny you having the Raiders there in town in Las Vegas. Like, I would think that the revenue sharing is going to work out okay for the Raiders because they're not going to pay shit into the system. The MLB proposed for the next collective bargaining agreement that there would be they would lower the luxury tax threshold down to $180 million, but they would institute a floor of $100 million. Every payroll would have to be $100 million.
How many teams are below 100? I'm sure you know this. You probably did the research.
I didn't, but I can tell you real quick.
I mean, is it like 6? I would think most are above 100 now.
Let me see here.
Let's go research, people.
Below 100. I think the Royals dropped down to like 80 this year. They were over 100 last year.
Are we doing 40 or 26 men?
So here we go. The 20. I'll call it. Just brought up one of the sites. 2021 total payroll below 100 million. Number 19 to 30. So 12 teams. Milwaukee Brewers 97, Texas Rangers 95, Diamondbacks 89, A's 89, Tigers 86, Royals 85, Mariners 81, Rays 70, 57 for the Marlins, 54 for the Pirates, 53 for the Orioles, 49 for the Indians.
What do you think they get like right out of the gates from rev sharing and the TV deal? Do they each get about $90 million?
I don't know. I mean, they're very secretive with those numbers.
Exactly.
And it's not the same kind of – the local revenue is much more important for baseball than it is football.
Yeah, I thought it was pushing $90 million from the league with the national TV deal and the rev sharing. I might be wrong, but I figured that kind of covered the nut. And then when I hear that many teams below 90 million, it's like, well, so you're basically just guaranteeing a profit before you deal with any, success or failures at the gate. I mean, to me, it seems like I don't have all the numbers, but it seems to me like you should be able to tax at like 200 and have a floor of 120 million.
So 48% of local revenue share, 48% of local revenues are subject to revenue sharing, are distributed around equally. Let's see here. I'm looking here, a couple of different sites. But I think the bottom line on this is it is heading towards much more of a salary cap, right? But it would prevent the tanking. Twofold. I mean, what are you going to do? Are you going to tank because you want the draft picks and everything? Are you going to give one guy $50 million just to get over? No. So it would prevent some of the tanking, which, by the way, not tanking when you're rebuilding doesn't work. See the Royals. You still lose 100 games.
Doesn't guarantee it.
Twice.
How our fantasy league, and I know it's fantasy baseball, so not always applicable. Our fantasy league for the minor league draft the next year, how do we do it? How do you pick the order?
Worst to first.
Okay. Because I know that I've been in fantasy leagues where we do first team out of the playoffs is number one pick. It goes down from there, and then the best teams go after. Say it's 12-team fantasy league. It's 5-12, and then 4-1. There has been – I saw some talk this week on ESPN.com. Who was talking about it? Well, one of the broadcasts, whatever. But there was talk about doing it that way where you still got to compete. If you just miss out on the playoffs, then you get the higher pick.
Right. So bring up Uncle Pecos's statement there about the Rays and A's, because I've tracked this a lot of times, and I'll have to put it together now, and maybe I'll have it next time, like over the last 10 years or 20 years. Generally speaking, what do we have? We have 10 playoff teams, right? 3 division winners, 2 wild cards. Of the 10 playoff winners, usually 4 come from the top 10, 4 come from the middle 10, and 2 come from the bottom 10. On average, that's where it is. Right. The sweet spot, or it might even be, that might even be wrong. It might be 3 from the top 10, 5 from the middle 10, and then 2 from below. Or 4, 5, 1, something like that. But the sweet spot is 11 to 20. Right? The over expenditure 1 to 10 is usually you're splashing around extra cash that isn't necessary. The sweet spot for making the playoffs, you make the playoffs as often at 11 to 20 as you do in 1 to 10. Now, I could look, and generally speaking, they all get better, and so maybe now it's becoming 11 to 15, and 16 to 20 is starting to not be there. But consistently, that would be the case. And, like right now, like what playoff teams down low are the Rays at 26. The Mariners are in the fight at 25. The A's are in it at 22. The Brewers are in it at 19. So that was 3 out of the bottom that are in it. The Brewers at 19, the White Sox at 15, but they're an ascending team. They'll get more expensive as it goes. The Blue Jays at 11, Giants at 10. Cardinals are not in it so much, really, at 9.
Sounds like pretty good balance to me. Sounds like a lot of the teams up top are assholes who spend too much money and give out way too many bad contracts.
Well, it's flexing its muscle a little more now. Padres at 8, Angels aren't really in it, but they're at least above 500 for the first time since 15, or were a couple of days ago, or whenever I last looked. They're at 7. Red Sox at 6. They just fell out of a playoff spot, but they're in the fight. Phillies at 5 are in the fight. Astros at 4, Mets at 3, Yankees at 2, Dodgers at 1. I mean, I haven't done it. I really, frankly, haven't done it since like probably 18, the last time the Royals were in the mix. So I'd have to look, and I'd probably throw 20 out. We usually, not things we're doing now, we always throw 20 out because it was 60 games in such a weird year. But like this year, the top teams are doing better, right? But the luxury tax, if you went over 180 million, the luxury tax would affect the Dodgers at 267, The Yankees at 204, the Mets at 198, the Astros at 192, the Phillies at 184, Red Sox at 182, and 181 million for the Angels.
So what was that, like 8 teams?
It is 7 teams.
All right.
So would you be for it or against it, knowing that the A's may be in your backyard in the not so distant future?
180 and 100. I'd be mostly for it because I think the teams that are way below 100 are going to be kicking and screaming. I didn't realize that many teams were spending like 45 to 75. That's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the problem. Now, listen, what do you make of the Rays, who are always down there at the bottom, yet always competing?
Yeah, well, I think you can still do it by not giving out terrible contracts, and you have to trust your personnel people, and you got to have the balls to make good trades, and you got to be willing to trade your prospects. So, and they seem to nail it in most cases, and then they collect more prospects, and they usually win their end of the trade. So, I'd be for it. I mean, I'd have to see the number. Like as a player, I don't know if it's going to suppress. I mean, it's been so weird the last 3 or 4 years. There are guys who get the mega contracts. Obviously, the Lindor deal is ridiculous, but then you've got other good players who are like every year they're looking around like, can I get a 2-year deal?
Well, can I tell you that the Lindor deal and the Mookie Betts deal are going to be considered 2 of the worst deals ever done? Because guys that weigh 180 pounds don't hit for power at age 36.
Right.
And when you sign them to age 39, 40, it's asinine.
I mean, in the case of Betts, he can do a lot of things. Lindor, not so much.
Mookie Betts will lose his legs like everybody else.
Yeah.
Carlos Beltran signed. They all quit running. First of all, Carlos Beltran told me on the field. Scott Boras says you steal bases before you get your first big contract. Then you hit home runs in the second contract to get the third contract. I mean, they've got it figured out. Like, you don't even have to try to steal bases. Your legs are gone. Somebody's going to give Sterling Marte too much money because he's leading the league in stolen bases. Like, oh, he's 33. He's still stealing bases. Not for much longer.
God, I would love to see the books, though. I would love to see the books and see how teams do. And I would also like to see the teams that have – is there any documented is there a documented case of teams that have cut payroll or stayed about the same for like 5 or 6 years? Either at worst, keeping ticket prices the same, or does everyone go up? Has anyone actually cut ticket prices? I know it's a stupid question.
No, I don't think so. I think you just hold them until you have a reason to raise them again. The Royals didn't raise them much for a long time. Then during their winning, they bumped them constantly. People are like, the prices are like this. I'm like, you are still paying 40% of what they're paying here. Like the Royals tickets were embarrassingly low because they had been so bad for so long. But I mean, the devil's in the details. Like the teams, first of all, they'll draw a salary at the top. So if they put $5 million or $10 million in their pocket, right, that's not nothing. But the teams may not make that much money as a business. But you have to understand, if you buy it for $1 billion, didn't we do this the other day? 10 years or 20 years, I forget what it is. You get to write that off as a depreciating asset, yet no professional sports team has ever sold for less.
Right.
Yet the tax laws say, if you buy a team for $1 billion for 20 years, you get to write off $50 million. So all these guys make money elsewhere. So if they bring in $450 million, their team is ascending in value every year. And basically, to give you an example, David Glass owned the Kansas City Royals for 20 years, and it went up 1,000%. He paid $96 million. He sold it for $1 billion. Right? So over 20 years, if it's 20 years of tax write-offs, he took a tax write-off on that for 20 years, and it went up 1,000%. But it was counted as a depreciating deal. So you get to take $50 million for 20 years, or it's $100 million for 10 years. I forget which it is. And you take that off against whatever else you're making. So if you made $650 million, now you only made $550 million. And by the way, that's not the only thing they do that on. There's a reason why. What was it? Who's the guy trying to go to Mars? Elon Musk paid a tax rate, I think, of 14%. The Amazon guy paid 12% of his total revenue, right? So pay a lot more than us, but there's all these different things built in the tax code that you write off. So, which nobody gives a shit about the other stuff. So I'm not going to, only nerds like me read about that stuff. But the sports teams where we sit here and it's like, guys are like, well, we're losing money. Bullshit. Because you're taking write-offs out the yang, and it's a guaranteed. You just wait 20 years. The Royals sold for $1 billion. If it goes up 1,000%, I need a calculator. 1,000%. Right? That'll be just times 10. I don't need a calculator. It'll sell for $10 billion in 20 years. I mean, you can't. Bill Maher did a piece about, when he bought in on the Mets. He had a couple of cash calls. He's like, what the hell's going on? And then when he sold, he's like, holy shit, it's the greatest thing I ever did. Easiest money I ever made. He's like, I wondered a little bit when we had some cash calls, and he got in on a turd moron owner.
Right.
And he's still at the end. He's like, oh, yeah, it was great at the end of the day. So,
I mean, this is something we've talked about forever. Well, let me start with this. Do you think fans on the markets that aren't spending $100 million, are they more concerned about their team? Are they more excited about their team getting to $100 million, or the teams up top getting taxed and maybe not spending more than 180?
Are they more excited about bringing the bottom up, or are the top teams more excited about bringing the top down?
No. Are the fans of the teams that are on the bottom not spending money, are they more excited to see their team forced to spend 100, or more aggressive taxing of the top teams? Like, are those two?
I think the more aggressive taxing of the aggressive of the tax teams, because the Rays and A's have proven that if you're an intelligent team, you don't have to spend that high. Yeah. You just have to be willing to be aggressive and turn your roster, right? Nobody turns their roster like the Rays and A's. And that's one of the frustrating things in Kansas City, because they knew that their window was open, but they didn't trade Salvador Perez. They didn't trade Whit Merrifield. They didn't trade Danny Duffy till they got nothing for him, a player to be named later here in his final year in his deal. They had these players that could have brought assets. The Rays and A's would have been moving them. And the Rays and A's are contending and moving guys for assets. The A's have never bottomed out. They've never lost 100 games. The Royals got all this love for not tanking once their window was over after 2017, and in 18 and 19 they lost 100 games. And depending on how things go, they're in the realm where they could have a bad run and lose 100 games this year.
Yeah,
and I agree.
Listen, this is a discussion we have all the time. I'm gonna give you my take on this one, because I root for a really good organization in my Yankees in my room here.
You're a really expensive, a really flush with cash organization. I don't know that they're really good when they run out of lineup with no left-handed power for 100 games on the season.
They have a high standard. They've only won one this century, right? But because I see Royals fans say this, that the championship is great. I swear to God, if as a Jets fan, if you told me I could win one Super Bowl and then most of the time is crap, or give me 30 years of winning, I would take the 30 years. And people think I'm lying. I would take the 30 years and not have a title. Well, I would have enjoyment every year and have high expectations and get fired up. And
I think you say that until you live that and you don't cash, right? Like, really what everybody wants is to win all the time and then win a couple of championships here and there. Flags fly forever. That's real. Those memories. I mean, I'm going to tell you, you've experienced the Yankees winning. You haven't experienced the Jets, but you also are out of town. I think it's hard for out of town fans to understand that, having not seen it. I got to experience Syracuse winning. In 85, I got to experience the Royals winning. I was in the 8th grade. It was great. I remember riding around on a moped, honking the horn in the street when the Royals won it. It was a phenomenal thing. I was in the 8th grade. It was very memorable. Not quite the same as when you become an adult. The Kansas City Royals 2014 and 2015 World Series, I took 2 years off my life each year. I mean, it was the biggest Sunday of a football season, every single game of at least the LCS and World Series. And it's ridiculous how enraptured you got, and I will never forget that. So many people, seeing people at the ballpark, if you got tickets to the games, being out there and all the moments and all the memories and all the things you would do, it's ridiculous. The World Series. And it's not that it's the World Series, the NBA Finals, I think would be the same thing if you're an NBA fan. The Stanley Cup Finals, and maybe even the conference championships are the same. I think, Steve, if you were in New York rooting for the Jets, or if the Raiders come around and you become a Raiders fan, even if you're not even a Raiders fan, you're still a Jets fan, and the Raiders win a championship and you go through that and you see what it is every Sunday, Like, it will redefine how much the championship means. But to your point, it doesn't matter because, like, I love the argument, but it's bullshit because you don't get to pick. We don't vote and say we're going to be pretty good all the time, but never win the championship, or we're going to suck and get a championship. Like, the Royals are the greatest example ever. Dayton Moore, 15 years, had his 15-year anniversary. He's had 12 losing seasons. 12 500 are losing. It's actually 1 500, 11 losing, 3 winning, and he won 2 pennants in a World Series. I mean, he is the ultimate case of the, if I could just win the championship, I'll deal with the shit for years. He's the ultimate case of it. And, you know, he's getting a shot, and the Baseball America gave him the 3rd best system in baseball, which is a reason to keep going the course that you're going with him. But, like, you don't get to choose that. So, I mean, I do love the discussion, but it's bullshit at the end of the day. You don't get to pick it. And you don't get to the playoffs. The A's aren't trying to just be pretty good. They're trying to win it all, but they're not trying. They will never sacrifice the future for now. And they might get one along the way. Right? There's no quarterback position in baseball. Like, if you have the quarterback, you can play. The Patriots played A's football, but they had the quarterback. Right? The Chiefs, though, are playing all-in 94 Niners football with the quarterback. Like, they're not letting anybody who's expensive go and playing the long game. And we'll see that they're counting on the salary cap to fix their woes in a couple of years. If they win 2 championships, nobody in this town is going to bitch. If they won 1, nobody should bitch because it's been 50 years. But I'm going to tell you, if 5 years from now they haven't won another one, they're going to bitch because Royals fans bitch right now. There are many Royals fans that want Dayton Moore fired. And with the number 3 system in baseball, which has taken a while, but, I mean, you want what you don't have. That's how it always is.
On the NFL, we've been playing some sound on the show of people going friggin' gaga. Believe it or not, well, first and foremost over Justin Fields after one preseason game. And then we had Max Kellerman the other day say that the worst of the rookie quarterbacks in what he saw in the preseason game number 1 was Mac Jones, and he would describe that as very good, and every other quarterback was excellent. I'm like, I don't know what you saw to Trey Lance. Did
you watch the game, though? I will say this. I do agree Trey Lance is getting way too much. But the 5 of 14 very easily could have been 8 of 14. There were 3 bad drops and maybe 4.
I think tools are there, but, you know, like you sent over the question tonight, and to me, they're 2 different organizations.
Okay.
Should Lance start and should Fields start? If they feel like Fields is ready, Andy Dalton sucks. He was terrible last year, and I know he was dinged up and their line blew and he lost, you know, the weapons weren't effective, but there's not much there. And, like, if Bears ownership is told, Matt Nagy and Ryan Pace, like, you have your jobs. Like, let's go. Let's start to do something here. Andy Dalton should not freaking play. With the Niners, like, I don't like Jimmy G, but he ain't Andy Dalton. You're right. I need to see more of Trey Lance when he's playing to get a better idea.
Yeah, listen, we came away. I mean, I put that on there because I think Trey Lance is getting too much hype. He's getting a lot of hype because he threw 1 long touchdown pass where an undrafted rookie safety got completely turned around and blew the play. Now, to his credit, a guy was wide open and he hit him. He also had a month and a half to deliver the ball. It was a double move route at over 20 yards down the field. It took a month to develop. The thing that I saw so I think they are overhyping Trey Lance right now. Not that he won't fulfill that hype, but he's not evasive, right? He's not like Patrick Mahomes, stand there, break out of the pocket, you know, buy an extra 4 seconds. Like, you got to block for everything he's going to take because that's the thing. If you think you've got a guy that's going to evade and buy a lot of extra times, and so let's really coach the guys on what to do on the fire drill, that wasn't it. Like, they blocked their ass off. And it was like that, the touchdown that he threw, I'm like, it is stunningly bad on the Chiefs pass rush, which actually had, I think, 5 or 6 or 7 sacks on the night against the Niners. I know Tim Ward had 2, Tashawn Wharton had 1. Chris Jones had one against Trey Lance. So, it's they're a work in progress. And Lance, his throw was good. A guy was open and he hit him, and that's a big part of the equation. But I think everybody's got to calm down off a couple of preseason games and some guys having a little bit of success against defenses that aren't really trying that much.
And some of them playing against 2s and 3s.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it was a lot of the ESPN personalities. But the thing I pointed out multiple times is we pulled cuts from former NFL players, and we're told all the time, like, you didn't play the game. Like, you motherfuckers played the game. Preseason doesn't matter. And are you going on TV and just lying through your teeth as an angle? You're going to sit here and tell us that absolutely Justin Fields has to start, or Trey Lance is this, or this quarterback look like. Come on, guys. You played in the preseason.
So a couple of things. I'll say this. Again, all the quarterbacks, what do we have? 5 of them that were drafted? Is that right? 1, 2, 3, and then whatever, 11 or 12, and then like 16.
Don't forget about Kyle Trask, who Sean King, former Bucs quarterback, said he thinks will be better, and Kellen Mond. They both will be better than Zach Wilson.
Kellen Mond will not be better than Zach Wilson. I absolutely will take any amount, and I will finance whatever I have, and I will find rich people to help me finance whatever I need to take the other end of that action. Trask, I actually liked at Florida. I grabbed him in my dynasty league. I think he might be pretty good. So I won't mess with that. But I do know that people I trust like Zach Wilson a lot, and he's being compared to Patrick Mahomes, throwing from every platform, every angle, can throw off balance, has the arm strength, zipping the ball. He didn't go number 2 because he blows. But I also think like those 5 guys are kind of like having 5 frontline starting pitchers coming up through your system. If you get 1 top of the rotation guy, 1 bottom of the rotation guy, 1 reliever, and 2 guys that flame out, you beat the odds, right? So if 3 of these 5 guys, like even the 83 class, the great 83 class, yes, it had 3 Hall of Famers, John Elway, Dan Marino, and Jim Kelly. And Marino was a phenomenon early in his career. The rest of his career was good to very good. It wasn't great. If he doesn't have his 48 touchdown year and he followed up with another like 44 or 42 year, if he doesn't have those 2 years, he probably still makes the Hall of Fame, but you don't talk about him as like the way he got talked about in his career. John Elway ultimately won the championships. He's for real. Jim Kelly, 4 Super Bowls. He's for real. But like the other guys in that class, like, what was it, Tony Eason? Yes, he was the quarterback of the Patriots when they got their ass handed to him by the Bears. His career sucks. Ken O'Brien, like, what is the Ken O'Brien hype with the Jets?
He had 2 really good years.
And Todd Blackledge was ass, and he was the second quarterback taken.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, it was 50%, what they call the greatest quarterback class ever. So, I mean, in reality, 3 of these guys are going to be, if 3 of them are good, they beat the odds.
Is Justin Fields Dan Marino minus the cocaine?
As far as sliding?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Yeah, I if people don't remember, that was the rumor around Dan Marino.
Yeah. Listen, I think the Urban Meyer system, nobody has been spectacular or exceeded. I mean, Alex Smith went number 1 and he was a fine quarterback, but was he better than Aaron Rodgers? No. Is he a Hall of Famer? No. That's what you're looking for at number 1 when you take a quarterback. You're not looking for Andy Dalton.
Right.
So, like, everyone needs to calm down about those guys, right? And if they have a piss-poor second preseason game, wait till you see the narrative switch back the other way.
Yep.
But that being said, they should start. Shit or get off the pot. Find out what you got.
Both? Niners too? Lance should start for the Niners?
I mean, you're not coming off the Super Bowl year. You're coming off a losing season. Lance is the one guy that I think with his lack of experience, like we had this conversation today. I don't know if you heard it, but Louis Riddick was on somewhere and one of the ESPN podcasts, and we played it. And he's like, if you've had beers with Matt Nagy, and I've had beers with Matt Nagy, he told me about how, when it comes to what he's going to do with Justin Fields, they had to keep themselves from putting Patrick Mahomes on the field his rookie year. They wanted so bad to put him on the field. That's absolute bullshit. That is revisionist history. There was a fat-ass talk show who wanted him on the field,
right.
But they opened with a big win against the Patriots. I don't know if people remember the season opener. Kareem Hunt had a touchdown. That was his coming out party. He was a rookie. Chiefs put 40-something on the Pats. So another time that the Pats were dead. They rolled out to a 5-0 start, lost 2, won 1, and lost 4 in a row to fall to 6-6. And in the course of falling to 6-6, they got beat by the Jets. That was the Marcus Peters thrown out of the game. Come back with your no socks on bullshit game. That's the one that dropped them to 6-6. They lost 12-9 to the Jets, and they lost, I think it was 17-10 to the Bills, who had given up more than 40 in like 3 consecutive games or 2 consecutive games in a 30-plus. They'd given up like 50, 40-something, and like 30-something in the 3 previous games. The Chiefs scored 10 points. Then they scored 31 in a losing effort against the Jets. If you were just so close to putting him in there, you would have put him in somewhere en route to dropping to 6-6. 3 home games against turds. They clinched the division at 9-6. They played Mahomes in the final week of the season in a road game against the Broncos, and with all backups beat the Broncos. Right? In that year, everyone's like, that was Alex Smith's best year. This is his best year. He threw for like over 4,000 yards, 26 touchdowns, 5 INTs. And I would agree it's his best year. He had a QBR of 61. In the 0 touchdown, 1 INT, 291-yard performance by Patrick Mahomes against the Broncos on the road against their starters with all backups, he had a 68 QBR. So he played better in that game. They scored 0 points in the second half against a piss-poor, mediocre Titans team after getting a 21-3 lead in the playoffs, and they were out. So, like, there's all this revisionist history like, oh, we were so close to doing it. Bullshit. You had every opportunity to do it, and you didn't pull the trigger.
Right.
But everybody should, because do you think Patrick Mahomes – somebody told me, like, well, I mean, you know, he wasn't the guy he was the next year. Oh, really? When did he become the guy that would throw for 5,050? Was it on that Thursday practice before the first game where it all clicked?
Right.
Or was it some shit mini camp in shorts? Was that when it all clicked? Is that when it all – like he was just nothingness.
Right.
But, he figured it out in some mini camp? Like, bullshit. He was at worst 90% of whoever he was going to be in that game against the Titans. And 10, 12 games into the season, after taking the reps, being in the film room, doing all that, he was at least 75, 80% of what he was going to be. And 75, 80% of 5,050, which isn't the finished product, is a shit ton better than Alex Smith. So they blew it. I said it then, and I will say it now. And Matt Nagy, who I respect immensely, I think will probably be the Chiefs coach after Andy Reid, stop. All bullshit. After the fact, like, we were so close, like, spare me. Spare me.
What do you got coming up rest of the week?
Jeff Passan tomorrow. Friday, we don't have Kevin. We might have Kevin Harlan back, but I don't think so. Not this week. I think next week. Kevin Harlan will be back. Where's my phone? You really want to know? Or you just like to pre-promote?
No,
I'm not a promoter guy, Steve.
Why not?
I don't know. I probably should be more. Maybe I'd have made some of myself. Oh, Frank Caliendo was in on Tuesday. He was on the phone, but he's supposed to come into the studio tomorrow.
Nice.
Blair Kirchhoff talking college athletics. Jeff Passan tomorrow. We'll play Stump the Chumps with Pete. Then Friday, we've got Danny Unleashed. Danny Klingscale comes in.
Yes, I love it.
2-minute drill. And I don't know, somebody at 5 that's not showing up on my phone or hasn't been booked yet. I don't do that, you know. Like you, my staff. My staff takes care of that.
Your vast production and sound crew.
That's right.
Takes care of it. Well, it's good. That sounds awesome.
Good times.
That was it. That's all I got. I don't feel like promoting my stuff. So
you don't? You don't nothing you want to hype? You gonna be anywhere?
We got a lot of big stuff coming up. So a lot of big stuff coming up.
Can I get Matt Millen? Can you hook me up with Matt Millen?
You know what? I'm gonna let Ari, the producer, work on that one. I did request Matt Millen, so we've had Matt on before. He's good. He's solid. So I I was reaching out to someone today to get Danny Cannell on because Danny Cannell's a big anti-vaxxer and he's very mad at the Raiders. So I'm going to try to get that done for tomorrow. I can't promise anything, but
if you get it done, I want the audio.
Adam Hill against Danny Cannell would be good.
Oh my God.
But I have no idea if it's going to happen. So.
Oh my God. I got 1,000. Wait a minute. I have 25,000. And if I can make some calls, maybe 100,000 on Adam Hill to just lay an ass kicking. An ass kicking.
I don't even know why I mentioned it. I actually reached out to someone I think can get him, but then I was like, I don't feel like asking the favor. So I get like that sometimes. It's weird. I was very fired up to get it.
You want a good show, you just don't want to make the effort.
I don't know. I just got weird. I was like, I asked this guy for a lot of favors.
Are you going to go for Kay Adams?
What is that all about?
Kay Adams is doing sidelines for the Chiefs game.
Is that right?
You should go Google it. She did a interview with Chris Jones.
Right.
And it was all, shits and giggles. And like he supposedly did yoga, which to her credit, she at least exposed that that's kind of bullshit. Because she goes, "What's your favorite position?" He goes, "Oh, I guess downward dog." And she goes, "Okay, show me downward dog." And he basically just like got down on his knees and she's like, "That's not downward dog." And then she did downward dog, which of course I didn't know until I saw this. It's like basically jutting your backside up into the air while your elbows are down on the ground and all that. And that was going on. And,
wow.
I was like, really? Okay. So this, Washington football team objectification of women. We're doing downward dog on the sideline with the sideline reporters.
Yeah. Joe Namath, Susie Colbert too.
So if Joe Namath had said, "I want to do downward dog with you right now," not kiss her, it would have been okay.
Possibly. Yeah. Don't go for the gusto, slow build.
I mean, do you think you're right? I was, every guy loved it because like, oh, she's cute. I'm totally into it. What a fun interview. I'm like, dude, if you can't Google hot chick on your computer and satisfy that itch, like
what?
When it's time to watch football, I'll watch football. Like, I guess you're not a football fan because at football time I watch football.
Damn, this is quite the pedestal you've gotten on pointing down at the rest of us horn dogs.
I'm not. I'm just saying, like, do you like when you go to the grocery store, do you need like somebody gyrating on a stage? Like I'm getting my food. I'm not saying I wouldn't look. I'm just saying, like, can we do that? Like I'll walk across the street to that club. Let me get my groceries and get them in the car, and then I'll see you over there.
Yeah.
There's a little bit of that. Yeah, I am.
Is she doing all the games?
I don't know. I think so.
Oh, wow. That's very interesting on these local broadcasts. Very interesting. Yeah, so anyway, we're at Silver Sevens on Thursday. What do we got Friday? Friday, we'll figure something out. So be good shows. There are good shows coming up. Might be for the hardcores in Vegas. We got some Ryan McKinnell coming up, so that'll be fun. We're going to talk some SummerSlam. We got to get some hardcore wrestling talk going. So Adam Hill's out on Friday because he'll ruin the wrestling spot and just mock on it because he's a child. So I like wrestling. We got a big event coming here. We're going to get like 30,000, 40,000 in the stadium for SummerSlam.
Who's singing the national anthem? Garth Brooks?
God, I'm shaken by that. That scares me. I don't want to go back to where we started. I need football this year. I need big crowds. I need my jobs. I'll admit I'm selfish. Is that okay?
See.
Oh, that's not a we'll see.